Interesting. Most of us try to make healthy choices because we want to protect our future, our heart, our brain, our independence as we get older. But here's something many people don't realize. Foods labeled as healthy don't always affect everyone the same way. Your age, daily routine, metabolism, and even common medications can quietly change how your body responds to what you eat. That's why one person feels great on a certain diet, while another feels off, confused, or unsure what's going on. It's not about one food being good or bad. It's about patterns, timing, and context that rarely get explained clearly. In this video, we're going to break down how everyday eating habits can influence blood sugar, blood vessels, and long-term brain health, without fear, without extremes, and without blaming you for trying to do the right thing. Have you ever noticed that a food you thought was healthy didn't quite work for you? Take a moment and share your experience in the comments. You're not alone in that. And stay with me, because the next part covers one overlooked detail that could completely change how you think about healthy eating going forward. Most people watching this have the same quiet goal in common: to stay healthy long enough to enjoy life without constant worry, to wake up with energy, to think clearly, to feel steady in their bodies, and to trust that the choices they're making today are helping rather than hurting them. And yet, so many people feel confused. One article says a food is great for you, another says to avoid it. One routine works wonders for a friend, but leaves you feeling off. Over time, that confusion can turn into stress, self-blame, or even fear that you're doing something wrong without realizing it. Here's an important truth that doesn't get said enough. Health isn't one size fits all. Foods that support one person's body may affect someone else very differently, and that doesn't mean either person is broken. Age, daily habits, sleep, stress levels, medications, and health history all quietly shape how the body responds to what we eat and how we live. Conditions like stroke, heart disease, or cognitive decline aren't caused by a single meal or one habit. They're influenced by long-term patterns that build gradually over years. That's why today's conversation isn't about blaming foods, cutting out entire food groups, or chasing the next health trend. It's about understanding how the body responds to patterns, especially patterns related to blood sugar, blood vessels, and overall brain health, and how small awareness shifts can help you feel more confident about your choices. One topic that's getting more attention in public health discussions is blood sugar variability. Many people believe blood sugar only matters if you have diabetes, but researchers have been exploring how frequent spikes and drops may place stress on the body over time, even in people who've never been diagnosed with a blood sugar condition. When blood sugar rises quickly and then crashes, the body has to work harder to regain balance. That process can influence energy levels, mood, focus, and potentially the health of blood vessels. Think about how you feel after certain meals. Some leave you steady and satisfied for hours. Others bring a burst of energy followed by fatigue, irritability, or brain fog. Those sensations don't mean something dangerous is happening, but they can be signals worth paying attention to. Over long periods, repeated swings may add strain to systems that prefer stability, especially the delicate lining of blood vessels that support circulation throughout the body, including the brain. This is where the conversation often gets misunderstood. It's not that sugar itself is the villain or that fruit suddenly becomes a problem. It's the pattern, how often spikes happen, how concentrated foods are, and whether meals include elements that slow digestion and absorption. Fiber, protein, and healthy fats all play a role in helping the body process carbohydrates more gradually, which is why meals that feel balanced tend to support steadier energy. Another area that deserves calm, clear discussion is food and medication awareness. Many adults take medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, mood, sleep, or other common concerns. That's a normal part of modern healthcare. What's less commonly discussed is that some foods can influence how certain medications are processed in the body. This doesn't mean foods become dangerous or that people should avoid them altogether. It means context matters. Medications are metabolized through pathways in the liver and digestive system, and some foods can slow or speed up that process. For most people, this simply reinforces the importance of reading medication information and having open conversations with healthcare professionals. Awareness isn't about panic. It's about understanding that the body is a complex system where different inputs can interact. Knowing that interactions exist allows people to make informed choices without fear. Nutrition conversations have also been shifting around the difference between whole foods and juices. Juicing became popular because it feels convenient and health-focused. But many experts now emphasize that whole foods behave differently in the body. When fruits are eaten whole, their fiber helps slow digestion and supports fullness. When the same fruits are juiced, the fiber is largely removed, and the sugars become more concentrated. That doesn't make juice inherently bad, but it does change how quickly the body absorbs what's in the glass. This distinction matters because fast absorption can contribute to those blood sugar swings we talked about earlier. Whole foods tend to be more forgiving, while concentrated forms can feel less satisfying and easier to overconsume. This is one reason many nutrition discussions now focus on form and balance rather than banning specific foods. Zooming out even further, long-term brain and vascular health appears to be supported less by individual superfoods and more by overall dietary patterns. Research discussions often highlight diets rich in fiber from plants, healthy fats from sources like nuts, seeds, and certain oils, and a wide variety of foods rather than extremes. These patterns support steady energy, help manage inflammation, and encourage consistency, something the body tends to respond to well over time. Variety matters because no single food contains everything the body needs. Different colors, textures, and food groups bring different nutrients and compounds that work together. When people focus on balance instead of perfection, they're more likely to stick with habits long enough to see benefits, not because they're chasing results, but because the habits feel sustainable. Daily routines also play a powerful role beyond food alone. Sleep, stress, and movement all interact with nutrition in ways that affect how the body processes energy. Poor sleep can make blood sugar harder to regulate the next day. Chronic stress can influence appetite and digestion. Long periods of sitting can affect circulation. None of these factors act in isolation, which is why health conversations are increasingly framed around lifestyle patterns rather than isolated behaviors. The encouraging part is that awareness doesn't require drastic change. Small adjustments, like pairing carbohydrates with fiber or protein, paying attention to how different meals make you feel, or spacing meals in a way that feels steady, can support a sense of balance without creating anxiety. Reading medication inserts, asking questions when something feels unclear, and avoiding extreme dietary rules can also reduce stress around health decisions. If there's one takeaway to hold on to, it's this: your body gives feedback, and that feedback is worth listening to without judgment. Feeling tired, foggy, or off doesn't mean you failed at being healthy. It often means your body is asking for balance, rest, or a slightly different approach. Health isn't about control. It's about awareness and adaptability over time. Before we wrap up, take a moment to reflect. Have you ever noticed that a food or routine worked well at one stage of life, but didn't feel the same later on? Or that your energy changed when your schedule, stress, or sleep shifted? If so, you're not imagining it. Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel understood. If this conversation feels helpful, Consider liking the video so it reaches others who may be feeling the same confusion or concern. And if you know someone who's trying to make sense of health advice without fear or extremes, sharing this might support them too.